Welcome back to the Wise Women podcast, where we help you go from fed up to faith fueled, helping you to become the wise divine women that you've been called to be. Today, we're talking about hair mineral analysis. What your hair is telling you is so fascinating, and I have loved this journey of helping women understand that very same thing. So today, I'm just going solo. It's just you and me. And I want to talk about one of my absolute favorite tests, the hair mineral analysis, or some people may know it as hair tissue mineral analysis. It is one of my most favorite tests for functional analysis, and it really works well in conjunction with thermography, with your hormone testing, and with your gut testing as well. It's usually one of the first tests that I do right off the hop. It's one of the most conventional doctors have never used before because it is an alternative test and it is used worldwide. You can Google it anywhere, and it really does a great job. This tells you more about what's going on inside your body than most anything else, other than the other functional tests that I really love. So hair tissue mineral analysis, or hair mineral analysis, it is amazing. Why? So stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you're going to understand how your body is completely different and how it metabolizes, or the functions that are going on inside the body. So what is HMA or HTMA? So it is a hair tissue analysis. A sample of your hair is taken, and it is a record of what's been happening in your body over a 3-month period. It's a great way to monitor what's going on from meeting session to session, or after a therapy or a supplementation change. It is a good way to quickly analyze, and cost effectively, to be honest, way to analyze what's going on inside the metabolism of the body. So a small snip of hair is taken from the back of your head as close to the root as possible, and we send it off to the laboratory. I use CanAlt laboratories here in Canada, and they do analysis for United States and Canada. I think they're a fantastic team. And when we get it back, it's a detailed map of your mineral levels and ratios in a very detailed report. So it does take time to go over it and then put all the puzzle pieces together, right? The ratios is seems to be the most important part of things, right? So it's not just whether something is high or low, but how your minerals are relating to one another. This relationship is where the story lives. And here's why this is different from a blood test, right? A blood test is just a snapshot of right now, right? Your blood is always trying to maintain. It pulls from your tissues, it pulls from your bones, your cells, just to keep the blood stable. So by the time something shows up in your blood, it's been out of balance for a while. HTMA is a metabolic blueprint. It shows us that what's been happening at a cellular level over that 3-month period. I want to be clear. It's not just about heavy metals. That's a misdemeanor with that, right? We look at heavy metals, but we also look at the mineral terrain, right? So the foundation is built on that alone. Why minerals matter? So really, to me, as you've listened to me before, if you've been a client, your minerals are your foundation, right? I believe it's your building blocks, and you need them for every function of your body. So let me walk you through the 5 minerals that they look at with every client. So calcium, everyone thinks you need more of it. Your doctor may tell you to take calcium supplement, but with HTMA, it often shows that calcium isn't deficient, it's misplaced. It's depositing in soft tissue instead of bone. And supplementing more calcium can actually make things go wrong. Magnesium. Magnesium is your friend. I love it. This is a stress mineral, and I often talk about it as that, magnesium is often the one that gets pulled out of you when stress really ensues. It's like life is being sucked out of you. And for most women that I work with, this is depleted. Magnesium is used every single time your body mounts a stress response, every single time. Most of us are in a chronic state of stress, and most of us are burning through magnesium consistently. So it's one of those things that we are wary of. Of course, too much of anything is too much, but there's a balance to life, and magnesium is part of that balance. Sodium and potassium, these are your adrenal minerals. The ratio between sodium and potassium tells me exactly how burnt out your stress response is, right? When the ratio is low, your adrenals are exhausted, but you feel wired and tired. You can't handle stress the same way that you used to. That's how the sodium and potassium works. Zinc and copper. This is a hormone balance duo. When copper is elevated and estrogen is dominant, it's very connected to a high copper finding in your hair mineral analysis. You may be experiencing anxiety, low libido, thyroid sluggishness, and mood swings. Zinc and copper need to be in balance, and for most women, it is not. And finally, iron, often showing up in hair when it's not properly utilized, and this is tied directly to copper dysfunction, right? Balance means everything. When a woman comes to me feeling exhausted, wired, but tired, weight gain, losing hair, her blood work comes back normal, I go straight to minerals. When I want you to start listening, and I've talked about this so often, when we talk about our health, we talk about gut instinct, we talk about where we want to go with things and how you feel about it, I want you to be in tune to what your body is trying to tell you. That's where thermography comes into play. If we can't visualize it, we visualize it with thermography. I'm going to read you a list of symptoms, and I want you to notice how many of these sound familiar. Fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, hair thinning or hair loss, anxiety, racing mind, especially at night, irregular cycles or worsening PMS, perimenopause symptoms that feel out of control, menopausal symptoms that seem out of control, breast tenderness, feeling like you just can't handle things anymore. You can't handle stress the way you used to. Salt and sugar cravings, low thyroid symptoms, even though your TSH comes back normal. These are not just hormone problems, as we've been led to believe, but these are mineral problems. And when we address the minerals, the hormones often start to regulate themselves. That's the shift that changes everything. Let me explain how I use this from a functional diagnostic nutrition focus, right? Inside my practice with each of my clients. In functional diagnostic nutrition, the framework that I'm trained in, we look at all the hidden stressors, right? Hormones, digestion, dysfunction, energy, nervous system, right? Immune. So again, hormones, immune, digestion, detoxification, energy production, and nervous system. HTMA speaks directly to two of those areas and will support all the others, right? So let's talk about energy production, specifically how your mitochondria are functioning, and the nervous system, how your adrenals are holding up. But here's what I want you to understand. I don't just run the test and hand you the supplement list. It's not how I work. We look at patterns, right? We look at all the different missing pieces and create something very unique for you individually. It's not just a here you go, off you go. I've never worked that way. And less is more. If you've ever talked to me, less is more. Making it more digestible for you to make these changes and see subtle nuances. There are 4 oxidation types that we talk about. In HTMA, it's noted in the HMA, but it is something that we can certainly look at deeper with metabolic typing as well. There are fast oxidizers, there are slow oxidizers, and there are mixed oxidizers. These types tell us how your body is burning fuel and how you respond to stress, what your thyroid and your adrenals are doing together. And then we layer that into your symptoms. It's your story. It's your lifestyle. Because it is never just one number isolated, right? We just we don't want to look at things individually. We want to look at things as a whole picture, how things marry together and support one another, and or where the dysfunction lays. It's always a whole picture. So, what actually happens after we do the test? Well, you get a full protocol, right? I gather all the information that we can. We talk about your symptoms. We talk about your goals. We negotiate what you're willing to give up and what you're wanting to change in your life. It's a full protocol. Targeted minerals and support for your patterns that we see. Dietary shifts that match your oxidation type, and lifestyle recommendations that are actually doable, right? I work out of a DRESS framework: diet, rest, exercise, stress management, and supplementation, always. Breaking it down over 3 to 4 months. And then later we retest. I want this to be easy to understand, easy to work through, doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. I think that there's been the most effective changes for women when we break it down into these bite-sized pieces, always continue to connect with one another, to see if there's subtle changes, to see if there are no changes, and shift. This is again why I work over the 3 to 4 months, and then we always look at retesting with the HTMA, thermography, or any other additional test that you wish to do, because HTMA, for instance, is a living document. It's a living understanding of your healing process. And this is where we see the healing trends, right? The 3 month life that exists in that hair sample is, I think, a tremendous opportunity to understand you. We understand the healing. We understand the trends that are changing. We see how you are shifting. So HTMA is included in my Restore program, of course. It is included in my full body thermography scans as well. And initial appointments, there's always a discounted price that's available with the HTMA when you start working with me. So it is an incredible opportunity just to get in. So utilizing it with thermography, again, we get to see the physiology, the metabolic process of the body visually. We get to focus on things that we can see with thermography, especially the full body. And if you're not familiar with thermography, let me review that with you. So thermography is an infrared study of the body that looks at stress, structural changes, and how you're managing. How's life? We look at everything from head to toe: sinuses, structure of the head, dental, thyroid, lymphatic systems, muscle systems, and of course, the cervical neck. We look at shoulders in perspective of toxicity and structure and strain. We look at the chest for, again, that lymphatic potential, heart issues, and lung issues. Obviously, we look at the breast, not from a diagnostic point of view, but from a metabolism point of view, or from a physiology point of view. How is your body expressing to your breast? Because they are not separate. They are a part of your body and they reflect the health of your body. Get into my Touch Your Tatas program. I'll talk more about that there as well. But we look at different changes within the breast and look at your potential. And I'll talk about more of that later and in my previous podcasts as well. We look at digestive health, liver stress or congestion, stomach in digestive function, pancreas, insulin resistance, and pancreatic enzyme deficiencies. We look at the colon, the small intestine, the bladder. We look at kidney and adrenal referral throughout the body, which is often fascinating. Lower back, of course, because that's where most of your stress sits. Pelvic floor, because that's important, right, for women. Legs, looking for varicose and gait issues and circulatory flow and lymphatic flow. In the feet, we're looking at gait. We often can see blood sugar instabilities, metabolic resistance there as well, which is very exciting. Maybe not for the person, but for me, it's always really exciting to look at the clues at what the body's trying to tell us with thermography. With the hands and the arms, we're looking for repetitive strain, we're looking for circulation, and we're looking for cardiovascular and also metabolic resistance issues as well. And this pairs phenomenally with the hair mineral analysis. I think it's just one of those most incredible things that happen when we're looking at what your body's trying to tell us, right? So again, with my initial appointment, we're starting June, Wendy had her beautiful live blood HMA program for May and starting June 1st. When you book a full body thermography, the hair mineral analysis will be included with that. And that's here in my Sudbury location, as well as Haileybury and North Bay. So just beware when you book that full body, that's going to be included in those 3 locations. When you get into my programs, especially the 90-day breast and hormone health program that'll be launched June 1st, your HTMA is included in that as well as a discovery call to discuss those findings. And each of those modules really dig deep into understanding how that plays a role and how to really learn about the importance of your breast and hormone health, your body health, your mineral, and why functional testing plays a big role with that. So that test is built right into most of my programs, and I think it's phenomenal because it's specifically your results. We create your protocol, and you have me walking you through every single piece of it with weekly checkups, bi-weekly phone calls, and that's my most favorite part. My most favorite part of the whole programs that I've created with the Wise Divine Women Collective is that I get to meet with so many wonderful women on their journey for better health and longevity, understanding what their body is trying to tell them, understanding what clues are out there for better health, whether it's many of the symptoms we spoke about earlier in the podcast, and a whole list more because everyone is very unique, right? Women often say, "This is why I have felt this way. This is why I'm so tired. This is why I can't handle stress any longer. This is why I am having hot flashes still after 60. This is why I can't seem to have any joie de vivre or any energy left in my day." This is becoming the most relevant part of understanding ourselves, understanding where we need to move forward, and how we look at functional testing differently because it is specifically to you. This is where the healing begins, right? This is where hope begins in understanding you as a wise, divine woman, right? Helping you to gather all the information to allow you to become the best that you can be. So, after everything I've talked about today, I'm sure you have a million more questions. Please reach out in my DMs, book yourself a health clarity call, right? Get yourself on an initial appointment for sure, or book a full body thermography here in Sudbury, in North Bay, and in Haileybury as well, right? When we're thinking about the things I've talked about today, right? It's the fatigue, or is it anxiety, or is it hormones, right? It's me too. I'm on this journey with you, understanding weight loss and understanding fatigue and brain fog, right? So in understanding my own hair mineral analysis, my own hormone results, my own GI stool map or my stool, in everything, I'm looking to come out of this not being frustrated, not being overwhelmed, but understanding how my body functions and the things that I need to pay more attention to. And that's what I want for you as well. I'm looking to restore my body, my life, my vitality, and create a beautiful longevity plan, right? Because I want to live well. And I pray that for you as well. I pray that you are going to restore your health. I pray that these simple tools are going to assist you in this process, not being overwhelmed, not being like lost in a stream of information, but to have clear, concise instructions, a personalized protocol, a cheerleader on your side, and having someone walk you through all the questions that you have, right? All this information will be in the show notes. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast today. And again, grab that 5 root cause to hormone chaos I have in all of my socials at the moment. It's a free guide in helping you understand how I work and how it's important to understand things like your hormone test, your stool map, your hormonal analysis, and how that gives you a better focus to things. Get in the DMs, book a clarity call with me, ask the questions. I love them. The crazier, the better. I'm all about it. It's a great place to start. It's a great place to start just booking your health clarity call. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this helped. A little bit of clarity, right? Thank you for being part of the Wise Divine Women Collective, where we help you go from fed up to faith fueled, helping you to become the wise divine women that you've been called to be. Just in closing, I want to remind you that you are wise and divine. Your body is not broken. It is just waiting for you to listen. It's waiting to be understood. And I'm here to help you with that. See you next time.